Hello everybody, and welcome to a really quick Factorio video I wanted to do on belt mechanics, specifically with the splitters and how you can use them to kind of do some nifty stuff. So the first thing I have here that is kind of I'm going to use later, so I want you guys to know, is a belt balancer. And this is a single belt balancer that if one side fills up, it will put items onto the other side. And this design specifically would be, and these kind of balancers are best near where they are being produced. And the reason that is because then you double up the belt for the longest time, kind of thing. Anywho, and it's a really simple thing. When it first comes in, anything on the left side will be put, anything on the right side will get put on the left side eventually, obviously getting split up. Or this one, let me restart that. This one makes it so that anything on the right side will be put on the left side. And this one will make anything on the left side be put on the right side. And if the left side backs up here, this one will start putting everything on the right side, both left and right of the input. And well, here, let me just show you guys. So on. So as you see, it's kind of splitting it up. More is on the left side. So as that backs up, it will just start throwing everything onto the right side. Just a constant stream of items, and it's all backed up. So that's how that works. Now, obviously, this one is pretty simple. This is just to split it into two. So if we turn that on, you'll see it'll just evenly split it up. Now, as we get into this, I had 3 furnace areas. So I needed 3 equally balanced belts. And this is pretty much how you do it. Now, the idea behind this, the math behind the splitters, is that obviously you need 3 of them to go to your furnaces. But you're going to have this quarter remaining. If you let this extra quarter remain and it gets backed up, this one will actually get half, because as it goes through here, half goes to this one, half goes to this one. But since it doesn't split it down further because the other side would be backed up, it would actually just put the full half down this belt. So to alleviate that, you do need this belt to recycle into the sorter, so that the material that goes out onto this quarter goes back in and gets reshuffled into these 3. And it actually works very well. I have it in my big old factory you can see over here. I do have something like this set up for my things. And for your buses, this might actually be a better one, because your primary bus could probably use half, and your backup bus lines probably would only need the quarter or 2 that you would need. And you could actually even put another splitter that these 2 far lines would actually get very little. The main bus would get most of it, and that should actually solve a lot in terms of keeping the main bus line supplied. And I'll go over other ways to keep it supplied too in a moment. But as we go on, the 4s... Oh, wait, I didn't show this one off. Ta-da! Okay, see, and now it recycles a quarter of them back into the system. The belts are actually not long enough, and it actually kind of acts as a buffer, as you see, that it will fill up to some degree when these lines are backed up, but it will shuffle these into these 3 eventually. Now, 4 is easy because you have half, quarter, quarter. So, yeah, it just that easily just fills up. So, and it's full. Now, here's where it gets a little more complicated. So, this is a 5th splitter setup where you have 5 different outputs. I'm not sure why you would need 5 specifically, but if you needed to balance 5, this is how you would do it. Now, the idea is that since splitters only divide by 2, it's very binary in the case. So it's more than 4, so we need to split it down into the next highest, which happens to be eighths. So we have it split in half right here. We have it split into quarter right here. We have it split into eighths right here. Now the idea is we need 3 of those eighths to be recycled. Now, since we have it split in half right here and into quarter right here, 1/4 is 2/8. So we have that going back up and recycling. And then we have another 1/8. Oh, that's not actually connected. Might help if it's actually connected once I start this up. We have another 1/8 right here that gets recycled in. So if we start this up, you'll see that these 5 lines will get materials fairly evenly. Because of belt length, it might be a little different for each, but that it will actually balance out how many materials go to them very, very evenly until one or another backs up, and then eventually this little loop right here will actually get backed up, which is right about now, as you see. Actually, it's actually splitting a lot down into here, so it's actually keeping going. Anywho, moving on. This is a good one for trains. Not necessarily reversible, as you'll see on my 8 down here, but putting into the train, this is actually a very compact 6 splitter. And 6 is a little bit nicer because we only need 2/8, which means this 1/4 can just be looped right back in. So if we turn this on, you'll see that this actually splits it up very nicely among all of them and will ensure that all of your chests get filled up very evenly from whatever materials are coming in. Therefore, you load everything as quick as possible. Now this one, this monstrosity, this beautiful monstrosity is the 8 splitter. And this is the most compact design I've come up with. So, but as you see, half, quarter into eighths, and then just into them. And if you have a train that has 4 cargo wagons, you can actually use 3 of these to supply that cargo wagon, or all of those cargo wagons evenly. You will have to split it down into 3 equal belts, like this one does prior to, but you would fill all of your wagons evenly with this setup of splitters. Now, obviously, like I said, with belt length, it's going to be a little uneven necessarily in getting here, but the amount of resources that actually gets here will actually be correct. So as we see, we'll let this thing just fill up. So, and actually, we'll turn this one on. Oh, no, turn it off. Oh, no, those are not going. Okay. We'll let that turn on, and as you see, it does actually fill pretty evenly. I let it back up a little, so it might not be as even. But as you see, it's fairly even across the board with all the resources coming in. If you have a blue belt coming in the backside here, this one would need to be blue, but then it could immediately go down to red. So for the rest of the thing, so if you want it at the max belt speed, input belt would be blue, first splitter would be blue, but then the rest would be red, right? No, that's not right. First 2 splitters would be blue. Everything up to that second splitter would be blue, and then red from there on. Just to get that correct, because blue, I think, goes about 4 times faster. And as we look at this, you'll see that it is incredibly balanced, that just the amount of, or that these are balancing it very well. Anywho, this is going to take a while because I do want to show the unloader side, which is a little bit of a different shape because it does require a little bit of a different design, but this is the balanced unloader. Now you can do something similar to this with the 6, obviously kind of moving it around so that you don't have belts merging where they're not supposed to be, like I have right here, and right there doesn't matter because Yeah. Anywho, oh, like this one. Like I was saying, the first two need to be blues. Well, right here, as you see, I have the first two as blues because with all of this unloading, this blue belt is going to get very packed very quick. And I think 8 is the largest you can have, as it might even still back up with this setup. So, anywho, I'm going to actually let this drain a bit and let these boxes fill up, and I will bring you guys back when that is done to show off this unloader. So I'll see you then. I need it very balanced to show that. If that is balanced, then... because I don't want one side getting more than the other. So you see 3 and 3s. So did I unbalance them at all? I kind of did, I think. Yeah, I kind of did. They're a little unbalanced, but once they're all full. I don't actually want to upgrade these to blue and to ensure that they are being separated. Like, I know they are, but because they're coming out both sides evenly, but okay, they're a little over half. So I think 700. 24K is what the big ones can hold, which means 0.7 would be a third, which is what the wooden chests should be holding. Everything must be off. See, that's something that would only work with that, though. To be fair, this does one belt into this much does go pretty slow. Oh no, it's 800. That's right. Damn it. It's like, oh, it's almost there. No. No. Another 100. Another 100. Hello everybody and welcome back, and as you see they are almost all at 800, a little bit unbalanced because I decided to change up the design so that this would move a little bit faster. But they're almost full, so they should be stopping now. Okay, and then we'll throw in the trigger, which is just stone. We'll see that this throws all of it onto a full belt, and that is almost immediate. That is actually pretty impressive. If we turn on these, we can see it keep going. And as you see, it can supply pretty much a full constant blue belt, which does mean that it does not, well, it should be unloading pretty evenly. Remember that this is a balancer that I put in right here, so what is coming into it should be coming onto it. So, that's actually pretty impressive. It is actually filling a full blue, keeping a full blue belt filled. So if you have 3 engines that you are unloading, or 4 cargo trains that you're unloading, with 3 of these, you can keep 3 blue belts constantly full, just absolutely constantly full. So, but yeah, so there's that in action. Is that not awesome? Anyways, okay, let's go into the belt designs that I was talking about for your main bus. So normally with your main bus, if you have more than one bus line, you just have this little offshoot to feed your factory. Now, the thing is that sometimes down further can eat up more iron, or the factories right there can eat up more iron. So I've set up a couple examples to show kind of how you may want to set them up for different scenarios. This first one right here would be if the factories themselves are eating a lot of iron, as this bus shoves as much iron, or any resource, I guess, from the reserve lines into the splitter which feeds the factory line. So this should have an almost full line going into it if you have this, or full belt of resources if you have this design. And it's mainly for if the factories you have down it are going to be eating up more of your resources. Now this next one would be more for if something down the line is eating a lot of resources. That these factories get some, but they don't take so much that it's going to deplete the entire main belt, but that it will be a little thinner, and that everything down the line is going to need some more resources too. And this reinvigorates the main bus right after it takes from this line. So this one, if your factories are going to just eat all the iron that's going, or that they're not getting enough resources into them. This one, if your factories are getting enough resources, but the bus is pretty thin afterwards, then this one the next one right here, is for, if I can remember this right, that's right, just to kind of refill the main bus a little, but then to refill the first backup line as much as possible. That the main bus is going to be taking a lot from your first reserve, and so, but not all of it. So you're using the second and third reserves to kind of reinvigorate the first reserve, while the first reserve keeps the main bus full. Now this one, I would say just put on the back end of every factory, that this is, well, the main bus is kind of being taken from, so we're going to reinvigorate the main bus. Meanwhile, we'll kind of reinvigorate the first backup. Meanwhile, we'll kind of reinvigorate the second backup. So this would, I would say, would go after any separation if you have the room to. Major key point right there. If you have the room, make sure to plan ahead a little if you're going to have a 4-belt bus line, because you are going to run out of room very quick if you don't plan at least some space in between your bus lines. Anywho, that has been a few cool tricks with splitters to be able to split everything evenly, as well as unload everything evenly. Oh wow, it caught up. Okay. Oh no, all the resources up here ran out, so it's not able to consistently throw stuff on anymore. So this does work, as you saw. This is just because there's actually not enough for them to consistently be going. Anyways, to be able to offload, and then to be able to keep your buses invigorated with as many resources as possible so that every factory can get them. Anywho, that is pretty much it for this episode. Please do leave a like if this was very informational and that you might want to see more Factorio curios like this one. Please do subscribe to catch my other videos that I do. And if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, especially if you want to see me play Factorio, leave those in the comment section below. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching and have a good one. Goodbye.